I met Jasmine for the first time at Social Media Marketing World, which I think was the last event on the planet before this whole crisis took place. And it was really cool watching her on stage share her story. She is so passionate. She has such a fiery energy that just naturally ignites inspiration and puts you into a mode to take action. So I am hoping that you have your journal, your pen out, and that you have your thinking cap on, because it's going to be phenomenal. We also want to hear what your biggest insights were. So if you have an insight, you're like, oh, Jasmine, that was for me. I needed that. Put hashtag gold nugget and then let me know what that insight was so we can share it with Jasmine as well. So without further ado, here's Jasmine.
Hi, guys. I'm so happy to be here. Like I had mentioned to Sean, that this is mostly a conversation. I really thrive in that space. And the reason I showed up is to serve you and serve you well. So for the next 41 minutes, we're going to have this amazing party. For those people who are watching on Zoom, if you could do me a favor and mute your mic, because of course, the one time you're on Zoom, your kid's going to come in or a phone's going to ring. We'll power through this presentation. I'm about to share my screen. Then we'll open it up to free-form Q&A. So I'm about here to get it started. Here we go. I'm very, very, very thankful to be a part of this amazing conversation, and thank you for the honor of having me come and have a conversation with y'all. I'm going to start this conversation with some really good news, and that really, really good, desperately needed news is that there's never been a better time to build a business leveraging social media. Early studies have shown that people are on social media twice as much now because they're at home. So twice as many people are on social media twice as long. So what does this mean? This is a newfound opportunity. Never in human history has there been more people for this amount of time on social media. So this pretty much guarantees a very deep well of opportunity for you to get your message, your purpose, and have open communication seen on social media. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Jasmine Starr. I'm a photographer and business strategist from Newport Beach, California. I am also the founder of Social Curator. Shout out to Erin, who's here. And I am here to provide resources and solutions for small business owners to build a brand and market it on social media. Now, as a result of that intro, no, it wasn't a pitch. Social Curator has closed enrollment, so I'm not going to be talking about that whatsoever. I am going to use this as an opportunity to let you know that I speak to thousands of business owners every day. I have a very active private Facebook group for curators. I am in emails. I am creating content. I'm really having my ear to the ground. And what I have to start off by saying is, in light of everything that has happened in the last 30 days, I have to tell you with full confidence, you're not alone. I received a direct message, a personal message on Facebook. And she had expressed that she felt like she sees other people in other industries having momentum. But because she's an essential worker, she doesn't have the same amount of time to be pouring into her business the way that other people do. And I wrote a response to her that I ended up just writing because I'm like, there is a social media post in here somewhere, is that we are not in control of the situation. Nobody is, but we are in control of our outlook of the situation. Because the same person doing the same thing in another part of the world can look at this same situation and say, I have opportunity. And somebody else in the same situation could say, I have lack and want. And I am at a disadvantage. It takes just as much energy for you to choose one of the two. I am here to tell you that whatever you choose today, you're not alone. But I hope by the end of the conversation, you choose to say, I have opportunity. Even though there's a good chance you're looking around and being like, what in the world is happening right about now? And I'm here to tell you that I'm going to start us just chatting and going deep in your business with your questions. And I'm just going to remind you that in certain times you have the choice, and it is either fortitude or it is fear. That's it. You can call it by other names, but you are either leading with fear or you're leading with determination. Because I look at the situation and I see two types of entrepreneurs really rising up. I see the entrepreneurs who are like, whoa, I got to keep and save what I have. And other entrepreneurs who are like, listen, I see the writing on the wall. What got my business here isn't going to get my business to where it's supposed to go. I need to change. And it's the people who are changing and the people who are leading with value and benefits and thinking of serving their people, even if it doesn't directly relate to their bottom dollar. Those are the people who I firmly believe are going to ride this wave and come out on the other end. Because before we ever start deluding ourselves into anything at all, it is not a matter of if, but it's a matter of when things will go back to what they once were. It's not like we're looking at something and being like, it's over, it's done with. We have a long road ahead of us, but are you willing to take the journey? Because if the answer is yes, then your only objective is to say, how do I prepare for the bounce back? How do I prepare for the boomerang? I'm going to be showing you examples of businesses that I think have done this extraordinarily well. But before we get there, I have to say, whatever you decide you're capable of, you're right. I am not going to sit here and waste time listening to anybody's limitations. Now, I know for a lot of people who have no idea who I am, they're just like, who is this girl? Listen, I'm half Puerto Rican and half Mexican, which means I have a big attitude, but I work really hard. But inside this chest, I have a heart and I just want to see you succeed. And so often people are being fueling emotions on fear. I'm not going to play that game. I'm just going to speak my truth as I see it. And I'm going to look at business owners and say, listen, buck up, buttercup. If you're down for the ride, let's do the work. Because you can find excuses to walk away, or you can find reasons to stay standing. I am here and I'm going to help you find the reasons. That's what I want to do collectively inside of this community. Because fact of the matter remains, you have extra time. I know you are homeschooling kids when you weren't before. And I know X, Y, and Z. I know. But remember, we're not finding excuses, we're finding reasons. And somewhere in your day, you have more time than you once did. Even if it was, I'm not getting my nails done, I'm not getting my hair done, I'm not going out and doing my workout, I'm not doing with my girls' night every Thursday. Whatever the fact is, you have extra time. And if you are feeling doubtful of the future, what I'm going to invite you to do right now is just dream. Now, I know that it seems so crazy because people are like, why am I going to be dreaming during this time? And I'm like, listen, it's the dreaming that gets you through. Because I have discovered again and again that in times of stress and overwhelm, I have become to know, and what I preach is you must dream, think, breathe, work, do, behave for your vision. What do you want your business to look like and feel like when we bounce back? And it could be in 4 weeks, and it could be in 8 weeks, and it could be in 16 weeks. I don't have the answer of when it will be. But how about we give ourselves a few minutes to say, when it comes back, this is how I want to behave, this is how I want to work, and these are the terms in which I want to work. So how do these dreams, how does our future vision of our business become a reality? Well, I'm here to tell you that you can't go under your fear, and you can't go around your doubt, and you can't jump over the negative stories that maybe perhaps you could possibly tell yourself. The way that you get to your destination is to go through. And this is what Brene Brown, I had listened to one of her podcasts, and she said it is okay to feel all the emotions. It is okay to mourn the normal that we lost. Because many of us have gotten to situations where you are asking yourself, what do I do now? And the thing I want to caution from the bunch of hustlers, I believe it. I believe that we are in a group of hustlers. But the thing I want to be very cautious of is not to do as an anesthetic to feeling. Because whatever you do in fear and discord and stress and overwhelm, you will sow. Whatever you sow in discord, I was trying to make a biblical allusion. My daddy's a pastor and I totally botched it. Sorry, Dad. Whatever you sow in fear and discord and overwhelm, you will reap with the same emotions. So Brene Brown says it is okay to mourn the loss of normal. And I heard that and I was like, dang it, that hit me hard. Because I was just trying to go and be, because myself as an entrepreneur with a business and thousands of members, I'm thinking about the same thing. If members of Social Security can't pay their monthly fees, I don't have a business. Furthermore, they are in just as a hard situation. So I kept on coming with all these things. And I was like, wait a minute, let me feel the fear. Let me be sad that my situation has changed, because not only did COVID happen at this weird juncture in my life, I adopted a baby 5 weeks ago. I sold a house 5 weeks ago. I bought a house 5 weeks ago. My business launched 5 weeks ago. all the things and all the changes were happening at once. And so unexpectedly, I had to do so much with the adoption. I didn't live at home for 2 weeks. We came home, we had a week to move. And because of COVID, we couldn't start construction on a house. And so we ended up renting an apartment. Everything was mixed up and botched. And I just kept on going because I didn't want to feel. And just 2 days ago, I was like, let me just mourn the fact that, you know, like my daughter was born into this. My dog doesn't have a backyard. I'm in an apartment. Like everything in my life is so different. And then when I just said, you know what, it's okay. Other people have it hard, but just because other people have it harder doesn't make my emotions any less valid. So if anybody just wants to sit there and be like, I'm happy and I'm thankful, but I can give myself that space, honor that space. And once you come to grips with it, and once you say, okay, then ask yourself, what can I do now? And maybe we have the audacity to say, God, wake me up. What do I do now? So as we go into this conversation, I was telling my team a couple weeks ago, I was like, all right, guys, things are changing. Let's make some mistakes. And everyone was kind of quiet. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I don't want to lead with making mistakes. And then I quickly changed. How about, guys, we make movement, right? Because what got our business, what got Social Curator here, we can't function the same anymore. What got your business here, you can't keep on doing the same thing. We have to change our objective. And I know you've probably heard it 1,000 times before. I'm sure somebody like in like a really big mega church said, your message is in your mess. Somebody somewhere said that, but I'm just gonna say it here again too. We can find the message in our mess. And as I am working through this, like truly, less than 2 weeks, I've been trying to be like, okay, how are we going to pivot? What are we going to do? And how then can I teach entrepreneurs on the inside of Social Curator to do the same thing? And I said, let me be open in the mess, because I hope that in the mess, people start saying, I think I can do that too. So I am teaching you exactly what I'm doing. I'm not pontificating. I'm not, proselytizing. I'm actually just being like, yo, this is what we did. So I want to set the foundation is like, I don't know if people are familiar with Colby. There's this Colby test, and one of the categories is something called a quick start. Somebody who's a quick start likes to start things immediately and then figure it out as they go. I am not that person. I am the antithesis of that person. I like to go through, I like to figure out all the angles. I like to research. I want to know. But in times like this, and what can you research? Nobody knows what the heck is happening, right? So I'm like, all right, if I can't research, then let me be the first. Let me make all the movements so that I can start teaching other people how to do the same. So let's go through 3 questions you can ask yourself. And these are the 3 questions that myself and the team work through. Question number 1, what are people asking for? What are people asking for in relation to your business? And perhaps you're like, Jasmine, I'm a one-arm underwater basket weaver from Indiana. Nobody's asking me questions. Okay, fine. But what are people asking in relative industries? What are people looking for or desiring? Ask yourself, what is that? Either related to your business or your industry. And we have come to discover through a lot of like time research and data is that people are on social media for very specific reasons. Education, entertainment, escape, aspiration. We want to make sure that whatever you're putting out on social, it's in one of these categories, but also parlays to your business. So the second question we asked ourselves is, what can I do that is culturally relevant? We can't just put something out there without actually acknowledging what's going on in the world. And if we could then frame our next offer, our next benefit, our next X, that's in cultural relevancy, there's a higher likelihood of people opting in, buying, investing, things of that nature. And question number 3 is, what can I do that's new? Because if what you've done in the past didn't work as well, there's no sense in you trying to reinvent that wheel now. You have to try something new to get a new result. You have to try something new in a new world to get a new outcome. So those 3 questions then parlayed us to answering, well, we're going to give away access to Social Curator. And this is crazy because we've never done this before. And specifically, we're in closed enrollment. Why would we be giving anything away? So we answer the questions. What are people asking for? Once COVID and Corona hit, we literally had hundreds of people being like, can you please let us in? And I felt like literally, I can make this illusion here. I felt like Noah in the ark. I was like, nope, no, you ain't one of the 2, and it made me feel like a jerk because I see people hurting. What can I do that's culturally relevant? Well, could I put together and offer a resource to help entrepreneurs get where they want to go? And what can I do that's new? We've never offered this before. This was our offer, but I'm not going to talk about that right now. What I want to talk about was I gave that as an example to answer our 3 questions. And then we're always we're asking those same 3 questions every time there's a new thing that's going on with COVID. So what I put together in this conversation, we've got just 10 minutes left, are 5 ways to innovate in uncertain times. And I'm going to walk you through businesses that I think are innovating. Number 1, collaborate with peers. I received a direct message from a curator who said, Jasmine, things are really tough. I'm not sure if I could stick with social curator because not only is my side hustle in jeopardy, my husband's job, he's in management, my husband's job for a transportation company could be closing their doors. He works specifically with a transportation company that's in aviation. So he's taking people to and from the airport. They have drivers, they have vans, they have the whole 9. She's like, nobody's flying. There's no work. She's like, what could we possibly do? And so I said, hey, let's see if there's other people that you could possibly collaborate with. Hang on a second. Let me get into this slide. I'm going to go back to this story. So here is an example of Sydney Davy. She's a member of Social Curator. In pre-COVID, she was collaborating with peers for in-person photo shoots. What you're looking at is a branding photographer. So these are people who are trading services. Sydney is a virtual assistant. She would do virtual assistant work for the photographer. They were trading services. But now what happens because of social distancing? After COVID, she's sending her posing tutorials so she could shoot at home, iPhone tutorials so she can shoot her own content, and Sydney could possibly be sending props to this branding photographer so the branding photographer can shoot the props and then mail them back. This is about making quick innovations due to keeping a customer, not now, but in the future to keep that relationship going. Now, volunteer. This goes back to the story that I was telling you. So let's loop on back. I had told this curator, I said, is there any possibility that with your husband's company, you have the drivers and you have the vans, but you don't have anywhere to go? When we look in the market, we see that there's a lot of people that have to get somewhere without transportation, specifically the elderly and people in retirement homes. And at least out here in California, people with disabilities, special needs, and elderly weren't able to go to the grocery store because they were literally being trampled on by healthy people. So sad. So what a lot of stores started doing was opening 1 hour earlier to service people with disabilities, special needs, and the elderly. I thought to myself, could this company eat the cost of driving to retirement homes, picking up a batch of wonderful, beautiful souls, taking them to the store and bringing them back? But you would have to strategically align this to do this on social media. Use your social media to prep the offer, then present the offer, and then reach out to local news outlets to let them know what you're doing. Does this affect your bottom dollar today? No. But when people start flying again, that company is going to be the company that people remember. Truth be told. Now, here is a curator. Her name is Christy Cross. I refrained from sharing the identity of another person without their permission. So let me share something with Christy. Christy is a photographer, and she started sharing out on social a give. She's teaching people how to become better iPhone photographers. Not exactly in alignment to what she was doing, but look at this great pivot. Tomorrow I teach kids a smartphone photography class on Facebook Live at 10:30. Culturally stinking relevant for people who have children at home with nothing to do. Give them a phone, put them in front of Facebook Live, and mama can enjoy a sweet cup of coffee, catching up with email, or something of that nature. Now, Christy is a professional photographer. Is this moving her bottom dollar? We don't know, but she's putting out conversation starters and keeping people top of mind. Point 3, how to pivot during uncertain times or innovate during uncertain times is to start a new project. Now, we have this ability, this unique ability as entrepreneurs to just do more of what we've always done in a slightly different way. During this time, we're talking about movement. How do we shake it up? I'm going to introduce you to my hairstylist. Her name is Joanne. She's also a curator. Now, Joanne, here's the thing. People always say, oh, Jasmine's just highlighting her because it's her hairstylist. She probably gets it for free. No, my hairstylist pays for social curator. Why? Because I pay for my hair. We're 2 businesswomen paying each other what it is that it's done. But Joanne has been not in her studio. And this is affecting so many people. So she reached out to me and she said, Jasmine, I'm selling touch-up kits customized to my clients. So what she did is she charged everybody a flat fee, and then she delivered it. Don't worry, we stayed social distance. She put it on the floor. I picked it up. I disinfected the bag. But either way, she's finding a way to, number one, keep her clients loyal. Number two, keep them top of mind. And number three, finding ways to be culturally relevant. And better yet, if I was a hairstylist, I would be selling a $200 gift card for a $225 credit. Adding small little bonuses to incentivize somebody guaranteeing to come back. And y'all, I have to point it out, that was like my dye job. I touched up my roots. I was pretty proud of myself. Number four, how to innovate during an uncertain time is to invest in a new skill. And now I know that this seems like very basic, but I have to tell you that now I've had a little bit more time. And my new skill, I have cooked more in the last 4 weeks than I have in the last 4 years. My husband is so excited. He's just like, are you kidding me? Let's be quarantined more often. I was like, bro, slow your roll. Now, when I talk about investing in a new skill, what I just on a subconscious level didn't realize was that on Instagram, they have those 60-second video tutorials for IGTV. These are people streaming the things that they're making. And I started consuming content like an actual consumer. And I started observing, oh, that was edited here. Oh, this is the question I had. Oh, this was the follow-up. By me investing in a new skill that has nothing to do with social curator, and let me just tell you, I will never, ever put together a cooking tutorial unless you all want to learn how to make ice cubes or burn food. But what it taught me was by being in a different side of my brain, how I need to show up differently in my videos. So investing in a new skill did that. Let's bring out an example of Gloss House. Gloss House is a manicurist. I'm all about manicures, like long live nail polish. But obviously people can't, because of social distancing, have manicures. So what did Gloss House do? She started selling, y'all, $50 gel removal kits. It went viral because people are like, how do I take them off? And then all of a sudden people started sharing that you have your entire kit. Now $50, like, you know the cost of that kit. I mean, it can't even be over 12. She's making money hand over fist, and I thought it was so stinking brilliant. She sold out, FYI. Like, y'all, it's crazy bananas. The fifth way, before we get into Q&A, is to create e-learning. Now, I know that probably in this group specifically, e-learning is not like a big thing. I mean, excuse me, sorry. It's a big thing. It's not something that's new. Like, e-learning is probably very prevalent here. But if there has been a project that you've been kind of putting off, there's just never been a better time to test it than now. And I am always telling entrepreneurs, like, whatever crazy, stupid, wild idea you want to do it now, because COVID is the best umbrella. Like, I told my team, I'm going to start the hashtag COVID made me do it. Like, I just want to make mistakes and be like, yo, I was crazy. It was a quarantine. We have nothing to lose. Like, let's go out there. Let's be crazy. Let's be stupid. Let's turn it up and just say, I wanted to try something new. So the question that I have for you is, what is the dream that you are going to work on today? Like, say it out loud. Practice in this group. Of all the crazy places that you can actually say something, say it here so somebody can keep you accountable. And just in case you're like, but Jasmine, you're only talking about social curators. Yo, I've seen restaurants, they have pickup or walk-up orders when they never had that before. I've also seen family-sized menus. Like, if you have a family of 5, here's a prefix menu for this amount of money. So restaurants can manage their costs and also have pre-orders done. I've seen at-home pizza kits. This is all innovation in a time where restaurants are traditionally going under, and some restaurants are thriving. Music industry, live streaming from your phone. I don't know if a few of you saw over the past weekend, iHeartRadio had all of these celebrities going on. Like Mariah Carey, y'all, she tripped me out. She has her own recording studio with a fan in it. Like, other people are playing an acoustic guitar, like in their living room in socks, and Mariah Carey shows up like ready for the Grammys, and she's like, do-do-do, like, I was like, who? Like, why? But anyway, it's like a thing, right? I also, there's this relatively small Instagrammer, but he sings a cappella, and he looped his own vocals, and his videos have gone viral because his songs are around COVID and the coronavirus. They've gotten so much attention on Instagram that he's thinking about launching his EP and naming it the Corona EP. Like, you guys, Where other people are dwindling, here is like, I'm gonna make it. And like, you guys, it literally, it's one person, but it sounds like a very sweet and sultry Boys to Men talking about wash your hands. I'm doing a terrible job, but they're really funny. Fitness professionals, they're now streaming classes, professionals and like gyms and independent people. I live in Orange County. My husband does boxing. They're actually renting out their bags. You pay to rent the bag, they'll deliver it here to your house, and you could stream classes. A cycle studio that I go to, you can rent a bike now. You could subscribe. All of these businesses are innovating. The main thing that we always want to focus on is focused action gets results. I would prefer you focus on one thing that you realize, ooh, I should have done this, instead of 5 things and being like, I'm not sure what's working. Well, of course you don't know what's working because you're doing 5 things. It is just as valuable for you to know what doesn't work as what does. So if you're ready to get started and you don't know where to begin, you knew this was coming, right? Because I'm going to talk about I'm going to talk about like the thing. We have free access. It's not a tripwire. You're not going to get sold. There's not going to be backdoor access. I don't believe in that stuff. Like, it's literally sign up, download these photos, because we want to support people. We want business owners showing up and just doing one thing every day on social media. Your business will go farther doing one thing every single day than you just thinking about 100 things you need to do every single day. So when you log in, it's free access, no strings attached. You get Instagram story templates that you can customize for your business. You get photos, you get caption templates to show up on, what do I say during this time? If you don't have photos because of quarantine, we give you the photos. We give you an action plan. How do you show up? How do you schedule your social media? People are like, I'm so overwhelmed. Don't worry, we walk you through 3 easy steps, and then we also give you an accountability checklist. Like, we're here to support people. I'm literally talking about this thing, yes, obviously as a promotion, but to also show you, we answered the 3 questions, and 4 days later, this is what we came up with. You can do the same darn thing. If you would like to get download free access, again, it's like a no pitch, no sale, no nothing, no heebie-jeebies. Socialcurator.com/sneak peek. Now what I'd like to do is to get into Q&A. This is completely and totally all about you and your business. So please, let's bring it on.
Can we give her a round of applause? That was incredible.
Thanks, Ryan.
That is the most silent applause I've ever heard. But I saw everyone. It was awesome. So Michelle Villanueva, she says, actually, I'm going to have you unmute yourself and ask.
Hi, Jasmine. That was so good. So I started following you off your podcast. So I really, really enjoy it. And I loved your one about, when you got your kind of like the birth story of Luna, I guess. That was so beautiful. So that was awesome. Okay, my question is, a lot of businesses are pivoting and changing. Do you think that in a month or two, when everything goes back to normal, that those services will stick, like renting the bikes and renting the bags and stuff? What do you think?
Well, it'll stick. Okay, so let's use like the example of the cycle studio. The cycle studio is renting out the bikes, and they've never streamed their content before. They were just like, we're not Peloton. It was like a badge of honor. We're not Peloton. We come in for the real thing. It will stick if they continue to stream. I think that it's a whole new revenue stream. Do I think that restaurants will do it in the same capacity? If it worked, but it might not be a necessity. Some businesses are doing this as a necessity just to make it by, and then other people are finding a whole new revenue stream. So depends on the business, depends on the efficacy, depends on the demand for it. But hey, I see businesses innovating, and I see businesses doubling down once we bounce back.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Laura, go ahead and unmute yourself.
We're gonna unmute real fast and mute if my child steps in. Daddy just went to go grab him. So thank you so much for that. I came in a couple of minutes late. I actually first met you at the Business Boutique in Nashville. Yeah, I was one of the vendors upstairs with the emojis and all the craziness that was up there. So super cool. But my question is, like, I this last year increased my rates and was super excited to be able to do that, and then came up with like a powerful statement to say like why I don't do discounts and why I don't offer like promotions and things like that for the services. The digital side is different for me, but now I have people coming to me and saying, like, I want you, but I need a discount because of what's going on and because I can't afford to pay it at that time. So how do you handle that feeling for the situation with people that they're in, and you want to still help them, but at the same time, I'm not going to have a ton of time if I say yes to everybody that comes knocking at my door saying, hey, COVID, I need a coupon.
So the good news is that there's not a right answer. Like everybody in this room could offer a discount or not. If you don't need to offer a discount, hold your head up high and say, I'm so sorry for the situation. If at some point in the future, I can pay it forward or do some other thing, but at this point in time in my business, I'm sticking to what it is. Now, somebody can have your identical business, and by them not offering a discount, they won't book their services. They don't book their services. They take food off their table. Yo, give a 70% discount. If you just trying to get money to pay your bills, do the dang thing. You're never going to get judgment from me. If you have worked yourself into position and latitude to float your business 4 to 5 months without having to take discounts, clap that trash up and you do you.
I love it. Eric says he has a question. Eric, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, thanks, Sean, and thanks, Jasmine. I really resonate with the whole, if you're trying to do 100 things approach, like you end up getting nothing done, jack of all trades. And so that's kind of been a struggle for me, is this, I've been in these communities and mentorship and like I paid for different stuff, and there's like so much. There's Gary Vee saying, oh, I'm famous on every social media, but I mean, even he's like all about action, but everyone's like do everything everywhere, and it's like, I want to, but how do you, so I love that you have a plan for like, hey, focus on this. Here's, if you don't know what to say, like, here's a curation. My question is, I'm launching a podcast on April 13th. I put leverage on myself. I put a date. I put created a group, Facebook group. I'm just throwing it out there on my Facebook page, getting got all the materials, website, like ordering everything. What would you say, you having a podcast, what would you say is the top 3 things for launching a podcast, and then obviously just keeping it going and being consistent and marketing it on platforms?
So number one, I don't know why, I'm an empath and I'm into it. I feel like you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself. So I don't know why I need to tell you that. The only pressure you have, the only person you owe is you. So you can't do it right and you can't do it wrong. This is the first time you've done it. So, you don't know what you don't know, and you are only going to figure out what to do once your podcast is in the world. So now that I've said that, I would say that for us, it was so valuable for us to upload. We uploaded 6. Looking back, I think 4 would have been plenty podcasts, because people like to go and binge. They really want to get a sense of whether or not they want to subscribe to your podcast. And if you can get them to your first podcast, they may or may not subscribe. But if they take the time to listen to 3 or 4 podcast episodes, they're going to be like, yo, this Eric guy, I want to subscribe. So you want to make sure that you're not just giving them an amuse-bouche, but you're giving an appetizer, a first course. Go deep with that. And then also for us, I was pretty crazy. I wanted to launch with 2 podcasts per week, which meant that because I can't foresee the future, we needed to have some in the bank. So we wanted to keep in the beginning at least 3 weeks ahead to ensure that, to prepare, just in case I got sick, or just in case I got busy, or just in case I was traveling. So for us, we had a bank of 3 weeks. And now I'm just batching up a storm. And at the point of this recording, it's April and I've recorded through June. So I know, because I just hit it hard. And what I've noticed is that for the first time in a long time, I didn't want to do the podcast to be cool or successful. I just felt like this craving that social media has turned into this thing, and I just couldn't be myself. And all of a sudden on the podcast, it was just bleh. It was just me, unapologetically me. And I think that's the thing that I've learned, that I'm encouraging you to do. So give yourself grace, maybe 3 to 4 episodes at launch, batching as much as possible. I know you're launching in 2 days, but whatever you can do the next 2 days is better than nothing. And then making sure that reaching out one-on-one to people It is so effective. Like if you go to your Instagram followers and be like, hey, Jasmine, I just launched a podcast. Like when you personalize it, it's like you almost, I know, you guilt somebody into being like, whoa, you saw me and you're personally inviting me. Like getting an evite to a party is very different than getting a text from a friend and you're like, oh, now I gotta go. So yeah, I'm like the same thing. It's like one-on-one connections would be a game changer for a podcast.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Good luck. Good luck.
I love it. Erin.
Yeah, so I like how Laura said she had been asking, people have said, are you giving discounts? And I have a membership in there. I'm a travel agent and my clients are travel agents trying to grow a business. So I have a big membership of travel agents who are just losing their businesses and their clients and so uncertain. And we can't sell anything right now. A lot of places won't even let you book anything. So I've tried to just add value and that's worked really well, Laura, too, by giving them extra coaching calls each week. And that saved a lot of my members, but I'm struggling with how to help them pivot right now. I've suggested to do live virtual vacations, like talks about, different places they've been. We've done the gift cards and I'm teaching them how to do affiliate, like to add an affiliate income by selling travel kits from Amazon, like putting together kits and things like that. But I'm kind of stuck on how to actually pivot them without like totally breaking away from travel. I just don't know how to add any more value. I feel like I'm like so close to it that I can't see the bigger picture of what else we can do.
Yeah. I mean, this is, I think that specifically photographers and travel agents, like it's a tough go. Like it's just, so I'm not going to beat around the bush. I don't have a right answer, but I do know that with the payroll protection plan that the government released as like a stipend, like they're designating a specific amount for travel. Yeah. So if I were you, Erin, I would know everything about the application process. I would have steps. I would create video tutorials. I would go through and you empower your people to apply for the money that's out there. On Friday, it's releasing to small business owners. And then next Wednesday, it's releasing to sole proprietors. Whatever you do, like Amy Porterfield just launched a podcast explaining this in a little bit more detail. I had a conversation with my financial planner about all of these things. It takes time and it's actually it's a government grant if you use the money and it's denoted clearly in your business. And even if you don't use all of it within your business, it will become a low interest loan. I think as a travel agent, they're just so set up for this. Now it's a first come, first serve basis. Girl, if I were you, you have 24 hours, put together a 4-part series and stream it out. Friday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and be like, stick with me for the updates. Position yourself as being the go-to resource to help them apply for money. And I think that will buy you and your membership at minimum 2 weeks. And then you say, here's the plan on what to do when you get your income. Like it's literally, you have to go to be a consultant right now because it's just a rough go.
Okay. Yeah. Mel Abraham's helping me with that side too. He's doing a lot of coaching on that and I filled out the application last night. So that's a good idea. I threw the application online for my clients, but I didn't like tell them how to do it. So thank you. That will help.
Good. And then as like the resources come, I think oftentimes people just don't know how to show up on social media. Like they just don't know what to say. If you were to create turnkey solutions for them, like if you're like, okay, this week we're talking about Italy and you're like the 5 most frequented luxury vacations. And then you reach out and you go to the websites, you go to that like hotel's Instagram, and then you ask them, hey, can I get screen grabs from your website? Can I get screen grabs from your Instagram? And then what you do, in Social Curative, we create Instagram story templates. You can hire somebody on Fiverr using the hotel's photos and say, 3 steps on this luxury destination in Italy. And every day you have them come back in to the Facebook group to download those stories. And here's the best part. You don't have to create the content. You have to curate the content and you have to tell this hotel, listen, I have 3,000 agents. We want to highlight your business. Can we use this? And I'm like, I'm telling you, you'll get a tons of no's. But the people who say yes, girl, give them turnkey solutions. Be like, Erin is the person who's teaching me how to show up. You'll keep them.
Yeah, I have templates, but I never thought of actually filling them in for them. Why didn't I think of that? Thank you.
We're brainstorming, girl. We're brainstorming. And Mel Abraham's the GOAT. You're such a good, I would hire that guy to consult me all day, every day. So good for you.
That's great. Thank you. I appreciate it.
So Jasmine, I have one more question. It's 4:43 though. Do we have enough time for it?
Yeah.
All right, Valerie, go ahead and ask your question.
Jasmine, and by the way, I just love your language. I heard you at Social Media Marketing World too. You got in that last event, and just your language and catching it and how you're trying to keep it positive. I love it. Ministers to me.
Thank you.
So where my challenge is right now is, so I teach on mindset and clarity. So perfect timing. It's like the sense of urgency and then so many things to do. So I have a free clarity challenge that I did in February. I want to lead with that as the free offer. But then then it's like, where do I go from there? Do I go into like a mastermind type of thing, which is an idea that I've had? I have a couple of higher end things like a deep dive clarity or a one-to-one coaching. And then I also did my first live event in January. So that's a free to focus, like a one-day workshop that I could do that online. But it's just me at this point. I mean, yeah, I could do a little bit of hiring, but not a lot. So it's like, where to go? It's like,
The last time you did the challenge, what did you put him into?
I didn't have it go anywhere. It was literally like this first quarter, I was like, okay, I'm going to focus. What's my goal? And these opportunities kept coming up. So I just kind of went from opportunity to opportunity, and like now we're here. And so the challenge was the free clarity challenge was part of something that I was doing with ConvertKit as a challenge that they were having. And I'm like, okay, I need a new opt-in. Well, okay, I'll do a challenge as an opt-in. So I had about 12 people sign up for that.
If you want my honest answer, do you need to launch something now? Like, is it a necessity?
No.
Then just during these times, because what I heard you say were high ticket items, in-person event and masterminds, like the trends that I have seen are high ticket items. People are much slower to invest. If you have a low ticket item, people are more inclined to do that, specifically if it's in education or self-betterment, which I think that it would clearly align with what you're doing. If you did have that, you can maybe sell them into like a $29, 4-week, once a week program to help them get through COVID. Like, this is culturally relevant. It's something new. It's a low ticket item to really position yourself as a digital creator. And I believe, honestly, Valerie, that what you learn in this like small, it's not even beta, but kind of sort of quasi beta experience will empower you to really refine an offer that could be upwards of like the hundreds or perhaps thousands. But until right now, if you had anybody paying you a low ticket item for the commitment for 4 weeks to learn specifically from you, they're going to be your the most likely future customer of a higher ticket item.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Let's give Jasmine another round of applause. If you can, go ahead and go to Instagram. Follow her at Jasmine Starr. Make sure you sign up for that social media curator sneak peek.
Yes.
It's going to be phenomenal. And on Instagram, if you can share a story, tag me and Jasmine in it and let us know what your biggest insight was. That would be so incredible. Thank you so much, Jasmine.